Live with Ches, we up next. Live with Ches, sports prepared. Live with Ches, live up next. Live with Ches, we're the best. Live with Ches, live up next.
Hello. How is everybody doing today? I'm back and I am here. It is your boy Cameron Chester, your humble host, and welcome back to another episode of Live with Ches. We are talking NFL. Let's get right into it. So today's show, I want to start off with my top 5 dark horses for the next NFL season in 2024. So number 1, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns made the playoffs based off their defense and a surprising performance by veteran quarterback Joe Flacco, who looked like that Ravens Joe Flacco in the Super Bowl. The Browns defense is solid. Maybe they need to draft a few defensive players for depth. On the offensive side, they need another wide receiver, add some more O-line help there. The Browns really just need Watson to ball out. He's stalling the team with his average performances in the past, but before he got hurt, sidebar, he needs to stay healthy. But also, before he got hurt, Watson was playing pretty well. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts. Coach Shane Steichen did an incredible job leading this team to almost a playoff berth after losing their starting quarterback AR Anthony Richardson in Week 5. Richardson flashed during his rookie season but struggled with injuries. AR just needs to stay healthy. He needs to focus on sliding instead of just taking the hits. The Colts re-signed major key players Michael Pittman Jr., Zach Franklin, and Kenny Moore II. The Colts have a great wide receiver core. They have a good running back who needs to stay healthy. Maybe draft another one after losing Zach Moss. O-line has gotten better. The Colts defense is the only thing holding them back. Inexperience in the secondary was probably one of their biggest problems last season. Up front, the Colts can get after the quarterback. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Kwity Paye. Zach Franklin is their only true pure linebacker that can ball. So they probably need to pay attention to a few key pieces. But if they draft well and fill the holes for defensive backs and linebackers, they can have a pretty good season. Number 3, the LA Rams. The Rams probably lost their greatest defensive player ever in their franchise. Coming off a season where they made the playoffs, where many think they wouldn't. Stafford is still under center and performed very well last season, but he is getting old. Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell showed off when given chances. Kyren Williams broke out into the scene with his rushes. The Rams have weapons again. Their defense had a decently average season. They weren't that great at creating turnovers. They added Darius Williams to their cornerback room and have a first-round pick to help out with their defense or maybe their O-line. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers made it to the wild card round but lost. Another winning season by Pittsburgh. They won big in free agency. They traded Kenny Pickett to Philly and lost Mason Rudolph to Tennessee. However, they made room for Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. They also signed Patrick Queen to their defense. The Steelers just need a good O-lineman, another cornerback, and a number 2 receivers. And the Steelers, we all know how good they are at drafting those small pieces that they just need. And they can find stars in any round. Their defense is still their cornerstone for the franchise, and this offense could be revamped with Russell Wilson under center and Arthur Smith as the offensive play caller. And I like Arthur Smith as an offensive play caller way more than a head coach. He did really well at Tennessee. Number 5, finally, the Green Bay Packers. Now look, many expect the Packers to have a really good season next year, but I think the Packers can go super far in the playoffs and even possibly the big game. Jordan Love shined. Yes, he struggled in the final moments against the 49ers, but was overall almost close to punching his ticket to the NFC Championship. The Packers let go of Aaron Jones, but signed Josh Jacobs, who was a very underrated running back in my opinion. He will have a better O-line in Green Bay. The wide receiver core is young, but has major playoff experience now. Dobbs looks like a true future star receiver. The Packers defense exceeded expectations and played well in the second half of the season. Rich and young talent, Green Bay is trending upward on both offense and defense. Now let's get into the next segment, draft needs. And today we're talking about the NFC South. Let's start with the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are in super rebuild mode right now. They lost a star player but gained a new weapon and a highly favored young coach. The Panthers need talent at edge. After losing Brian Burns and Frank Louvu, they need to find a premier pass rusher to replace Burns' production. They also need more receiving weapons. Interior O-line and offensive tackle are key needs for their young quarterback that struggled. Cornerback and defensive tackle are other positions that can be looked at in later rounds. Next, Atlanta Falcons. Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to a massive contract, so their QB need is gone and they can pay attention to other needs. Atlanta still needs major improvement off the edge, given that the team ranked 27th in pass rushing grade last season, and their last edge that had double-digit sacks, I want to say, was Vic Beasley, and that was a while ago. Two other major needs is a number 2 wide receiver and a number 2 cornerback. Linebacker and offensive lineman are positions they can look at later, maybe like day 3 or 4 in the draft. Next is the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints need to pay attention to their O-line. They let Andreas Pete test free agency, and Ramczyk has a questionable knee. Also, Trevor Penning hasn't panned out to be the first round pick the Saints thought he would be. Edge rusher is another position. Carl Granderson was the only edge that truly performed for the Saints. Cam Jordan had a very disappointing season and possibly is retiring next year. Defensive tackle is also another position the Saints should look at. They need help in the trenches bad. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs need to take a pass rusher in the first round after letting go of Shaq Barrett, but they should also think about linebacker because Levante David is heading towards the end of his career and is on a 1-year contract. They also need to add more depth or possibly look for a starter in the interior O-lineman position, and cornerback is another major need for the Bucs. And that's gonna be all, folks. Tell me what you think, ideas, like and subscribe. And it's been your boy Cameron Chester, and it's been Live with Ches.
Live with Ches, we're the best. Live with Ches, live up next.